Welcome to episode 12 of me learning stuff and coding with LLMs. And today it's about time to continue on my critical thinking web app. So this is going to be part 2. So I think at the end of last episode, I'm not sure if I did this on video or not, but I created a notes.txt which contains some to-do and next steps for the app. So the critical thinking web app is, well, let's run it and see. In the previous episode, we also took the output or the front end UI generated with v0 .dev and we integrated it into our Git repo here in the web app folder. So let's just run it to have a quick recap. Run dev. And let's open it in the browser. So we have this is in Norwegian, but conversations with kids, everything you practice, you'll get better at. And then you have a bunch of questions in different categories like critical thinking, self-confidence, social intelligence, emotional intelligence that you can make you have meaningful conversations with your kids. So basically there's a question and explanation of what the question is exploring, some tags, age group, and some follow-up questions. So that's where we are at the moment. The data is just some mock data generated by v0. So right now I want to make a plan for the next steps. So first I want to create a spec for next steps. And then I want to use Harper Reed's planning prompt to make a prompt plan, basically. I think we'll do this in at least this in this video. So let's get started creating a spec for next steps. I plan to use Supabase to store the data. And so we need to create a storage layer. And first version of this is just a mock layer prepare for Supabase integration. And then we're gonna add Supabase auth, login with at least Google, LinkedIn, and GitHub, maybe not GitHub. Google, LinkedIn, Microsoft. Perhaps more, perhaps less. We'll see. And then we need to create a user profile / user profile page. And then we have another feature, web app features. And then we're gonna create a favorite systems, logged in users, and favorite questions. I think that will be just a basic feature in the beginning. Create pricing page / feature comparison page. It will show what you can do for free without an account and what you can additionally do with an account and the premium here that adds lots of great features to be decided. Implements Stripe integration for payment premium tier subscription. I've not decided if I'm actually going to do this. If it probably just going to be a free app, but kind of want to learn how to do this. So maybe I will develop it into a paid service for the premium tier if there is interest for this app. I could just do it anyway, just to learn and keep building some features. Why not? Right, so create a prompt plan for continuing web development of the app. Suggest other valuable. Adding this in the end. And then we have another piece of software, which is the question builder. That is talked a little bit about it in the first video. So it's a Python script that is connecting to the OpenAI API towards the 4.0 mini model to generate questions in a structured way. So I can actually parse the response from the AI into JSON objects that I can put in the Supabase database. So there's going to be a lot of work on this, but that will be the focus in a future video. So I think this is it for now. Right. Web app features. Version 1. So then we will go to Harper Reed's blog and have a look again, because I don't quite remember all of this. So the ID honing, he is using LLM to also generate the spec, but I kind of like it better to just write the spec myself. So I'm skipping this step and going to the planning part. I'm going to use the non-TDD prompt. I'm most comfortable with that at the moment. So let me just read this again to remind myself. Draft a detailed step-by-step blueprint for building this project. Then once you have a solid plan, break it down into small iterative chunks that build on each other. Look at these chunks and then go another round to break it down into small steps, review the results and make sure that the steps are small enough to be implemented safely, but big enough to move the project forward. Iterate until you feel that the steps are right-sized for this project. From here, you should have the foundation to provide a series of prompts for a code generation LLM that will implement each step. Right. So the problem here is that I already have some stuff implemented. So maybe I'll add this here. I think I will go to find my original prompt. Will that help? Let's see. What was my original prompt? I'm gonna make a simple website MVP that parents can use to find questions for meaningful conversation with their kids. Mm-hmm. Or can I use Claude here? There's quite a lot of... Okay, let me try something. Save this, close others, and let me open some of the files here. Filter, header, question card, question list. Questions.json, question utils. Oh no. Double click. Page layout. Question list, question, okay. Header. So I think I have the most important files open. And then I will try to use add files. Can I do like open code base? I've not used the code base before. Only look in the site web app folder. Create a short feature summary that I will use in another prompt to explain. That's what features has been implemented so far? Let's try. Hope it's not only looking at the question list now. I thought with this code base thing it was going to look through everything. Yeah. 7 references, but it's also using shit from the question builder, which sucks. So it wasn't able to. I'm just gonna stop it right away because this is not gonna be correct. So I think I have to tag each file. So this one, question details, filter, page, layout, question card, header. Can I have more? Details. Maybe questions.json. Create a short feature summary that I will use in another prompt to explain what has been implemented so far. Okay, let's try. Let me know if there's a better way of doing what I just did. While this is thinking, I will go to do some research. VS Code. GitHub Copilot code base. Context variable. Add relevant workspace content as context to your prompt. Not really what I want. I wish there was a hash folder here. But it doesn't look like it is. Folder. I don't think so. So at workspace, lets you ask questions about your entire code base. Finding existing code in your code base. Lots of stuff to learn. Okay. Feature summary. So we have a question repository, collection of thoughtful and conversation, filtering system. Yes, question cards, sharing functionality, direct question links, responsive design, prototype disclaimer. Okay. Perfect. This will go into my notes. Say spec.md. output as raw mark down. Shouldn't use Sonnet thinking model for this. Let me just... Bah. Let's see what happens. Can it somehow figure out the format? Not really. Okay, that sucks. Why can't it keep the formatting here? Well, well, well. So I'll just do it manually. So we have filtering, age groups, and tags. Main question text. Yeah, okay, so that's part of the question cards, of course. So we do Alt, Control, Shift, and then we can select multiple lines down to relevant tags, hit Tab, and add dash. What happened? I tried to save, but my prettier don't want to do that for some stupid reason. Why not? Okay, that's super weird. Prettier doesn't seem to like this at all. Well. Sharing functionality. And then we have this, and... Oh, these are just top level bullet points. And now my keyboard layout is screwed up. And if I save, it works. Okay, I'm not sure why it screwed it up in the beginning. So let's split it up a little bit. So we have web app and we have implemented features and to-do. This is going away. Okay. So this is our spec. Implement features and to do. So now we will go to instead of going to ChatGPT, I'll try Claude Thinking here. It's going to be a big prompt. Going to Harper Reed's blog, copying this. And then after the spec, I'm going to do this. And do I need to... I'll just try this without modifying the Harper Reads prompt here. I was thinking if I should add something about we have already implemented some parts of this, blah, 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 but I think it's pretty clear from our spec that we have a list of implemented features and some of to-dos. So let's just try. It's going to take a while. In the meanwhile, let's go back to the web app and have a look. See if we have any sort of console errors. We do. Yeah. Cannot find the favicon. That's all right. Still thinking. So I can translate one of these. What does it mean to be brave? This question is exploring the child's understanding of bravery and can lead to discussions about overcoming fear. And the tags are courage, fear, self-confidence. And this has been tagged age group 7 to 9. And the follow-up questions. Can you tell me about one time you were brave? What do you do when you're afraid of something? How can we help others to be brave? Yeah, and then I can have a conversation around this. And this is, of course, very basic. I have some ideas of how we can like make curated content based on this. So we can maybe string together a set of like 5 questions that tackles one scenario or situation or so on. But we'll see. Okay. So Claude is done thinking. And we have a blueprint for conversations with kids, web app enhancement, project overview. I've created a comprehensive implementation plan for enhancing the Samtala with Bound web application with requested features. The plan breaks down the development into small, manageable, blah, blah, blah. Perfect. So let's see. Data layer foundation. Create the foundational data models for the application. Define TypeScript interfaces for their core entities. Question user. That is a really... That is a really good point. We don't have types for our questions yet, right? Because we are just... Yeah, there are no types here, right? It's inferring the types. But I don't have any... Of course, we are not using TypeScript here, so... but we could do that. Probably should have mentioned that. But that's fine. Then implement the data access interface with methods for CRUD operations on these entities. The interface should be generic enough to work with both mock data and Supabase later. Awesome. And then implement a mock data provider class, store data in memory, provide methods to fetch, simulate async behavior and promises, blah, blah, blah. Also create a React context to provide this data throughout the application. UI integration with mock data, Supabase, project setup. Define schema, matching our data models, create tables. Oh, this is perfect. I really like this way of working, where I write the spec, use Harper Reed's prompt to create the prompt plan, and then work in like very small, clear iterations. I think this is super important when working with LLMs to make sure it doesn't get out of hand. And then you just implement one small thing, commit it, and continue with the next one. Implement Supabase data provider. Sounds good. Authentication foundation. Yeah, implement basic sign-in, sign-up forms. I don't think I will have basic email password authentication flow, but I will modify these prompts as needed. Social authentication, Google. Additional authentication providers, user profile backend. Automatic profile creation upon user registration. Oh, this is so good. This is why I love LLMs. If I was going to think out all these details on my own, it would have taken quite a bit of time. And here is just laid out in order, one by one. User profile, UI, favorites, backend, favorites, UI integration, feature comparison page, feature access control system, implement a system to control access to features based on user status. So this is something I have never done before, and I'm super curious to see how this will be implemented. So if a user has not bought premium, it should not have access to certain features, right? Permission checking logic, feature gate component to conditionally render UI. Upgrade prompts for premium features. Awesome. Stripe basic setup. Excellent. Subscription backend. It's quite a lot of work. Subscription front end, final integration, connect all systems, refinement and launch preparation. Error monitoring and logging. Perfect. Yeah. If we can complete these 20 prompts, then we are pretty close to a first version of the front end. And then it's a matter of working on the data and the Python script to generate questions in different categories I want. That should be fairly straightforward. I've already set it up and tested it. It's just a matter of refining the scripts a little bit, do a little bit of refactoring. And then we have a pretty solid first version of this. Of course, we haven't implemented any premium features yet, so but the main point right now is just to learn and do all these things that I've never done before, and then hopefully we'll make it work. And then for the next project, we have done it once before and it's going to be easier, and so on. All right, so I will take all of this and make the now famous prompt plan.md and put it in the correct folder together with the spec MD, which should also be in the correct folder. And this did not work well, unfortunately. Can't I copy everything here, please? Copy all. Thank you. Should have done that right away. So let's have a look. Save it and go to preview mode. And it looks pretty darn good. We have my prompt at the top. And I will pin this on this side. Pin. And I will close everything else. And just have a quick look. And what happened? Preview spec. Was the prompt plan I wanted? Pin. This is the one I actually wanted to pin. Pin. Unpin. Close. Right. So this is, I'll just gotta keep this. So I can see what the prompt was. Maybe I will actually do something like not like this, like this. Prompt. And then we have the spec. And now I have the prompt plan. And I said I am not using TypeScript, but as you can see, we have TSX files here, so I am actually using TypeScript. Not using TypeScript, but the files are TypeScript. You can always have a TypeScript file and just write JavaScript, that is totally fine, and then you can add little by little TypeScript as you want. So this is nice. Why do I have so insanely many changes in here? I need to commit everything, which it seems I forgot in the last video. It's very fun. So everything in the web app folder here. Stage it. Just double check that everything is okay. Zero and a prompt for next steps. Commit. And then I will commit these changes here. I don't have any secrets in this one, so it's an example and file. So this is part of my Next.js dashboard tutorial from the Next.js website. So I will just commit this. Yeah. Fine. Then we are okay to continue. And I actually think I want to do one prompt. So it's not only spec work in this video. So data layer foundation. First, we'll establish a proper data architecture that will serve both immediate needs with mock data and future super-based integration. Create the foundational data models for the applications. Create data models. Yeah. Don't think we need to do much more than that. So let's go here and give it a try. And we can add code base, but that is kind of a problem. Since I have multiple folders and projects in here, so can I easily open this in a new? No. So I'll just go here and then code dot open a new one. I think maybe I tried this and it doesn't quite work either. Let's see. We have our prompt. And we have to want to use the Copilot edits. And add files. Why? No. Or yes? Yes or no? If I now do code base, it should just take whatever I have open here, right? Let's give it a try. And let's try 3.7 Sonnet, not the thinking version, perhaps. Might be a little bit overkill for this relatively simple task. So let's see what files it will use for context here. Okay, interesting. Searching for TS and TSX files, types. Search for interface question. This is so interesting that it's showing these things. And now searching just for interface to see if there's anything already defined, which I'm pretty sure it isn't. This is just basically the raw output from V0, which is completely okay. Spending some time here. Okay. Let me zoom in a little bit. I'll create foundational data models and data access interfaces for the application. Here's my step-by-step approach. Create TypeScript interfaces for core entities. Define a data access interface CRUD. Create abstract base class implementation for data access. Implement a mock data provider class that extends the base implementation. All right. So let's just start with what is done. We have entities, a types folder, entities.ts, base entity with the ID created that, updated that. Okay, fine. And then we have a user interface with email, username, and is active. Sounds okay. We can add more later. And we have a user profile, which adds a user ID. So the user uses the ID here, and the user profile uses a user ID, which is a little bit confusing to me. Display name, bio, we're probably not going to have bio. Avatar URL, not sure if we will have an avatar, but of course we will change this in the future. And then we have a record. Preferences, where we can add stuff. Question, title, description, difficulty. Okay. Okay, so here it should have looked at the test data we have. It didn't use that as context, I'm pretty sure. Should have told it to look at that. So let's do that. Questions.json. Look at file questions.json. I don't know if I actually have to do this. Hashtag file blah blah blah, but let's do it for now. Look at questions.json and update question interface accordingly. Add. Perfect. So it looked at the questions, which are here, which have ID, question, description, follow-up, age group, category, and tags. And if we go back here, we have question. It doesn't have the ID, but that comes from the base entity. Question, description, follow-up questions, age group, category, and tags. And then in addition, we have favorite, which refers to question ID and some notes. Okay. Okay. I think this is good enough. And then we have data access.ts. Data access interface that defines CRUD operations. So we have filter options interface. Okay. Query options interface. Now we have data access interface with get all and get by ID, create, which we might remove. I'm not sure. Maybe users should be able to create. Maybe that is a premium feature or not. I'm not sure. Has to be restricted at least. Update and delete. And then we have a data provider interface. And this data access interface is reused for all kinds of things. So seems pretty good. I'm gonna accept it. Then we have base data access. I should probably have reviewed that first. So abstract class here, which extends base entity, which is typed containing ID created at updated at. And so just to do it step by step here. So so yeah, base data access class implements data access. Okay. And crypto.generate random grid. Where is this crypto coming from? Not quite sure, but window. Okay. So read-only property of the window interface returns the crypto object for the Windows scope. This object gives web pages access to certain cryptographic related services. Although the property is read-only, all of its methods are not read-only, therefore vulnerable to attacks by polyfill. Okay. Only has one usable feature in insecure context, get random values. Get random values, but that's not what we're using here, so we might look into this. Of course, we will do a code review of the whole thing and do a threat modeling, looking for vulnerabilities and so on in a later video, and definitely before we publish this, of course. So, okay. Lots of new stuff to learn here. I see we have omit, which I'm not familiar with. Interesting. We have apply filter function. Apply filters, apply order, and apply pagination, which is definitely a feature we need to have when we have hundreds of questions in the database. We can't just fetch all of them if the result set is too big. Okay, let's accept this. And then we have mock data access. Implement a mock data provider for testing and development. So it basically just implements, it extends base data access, which forces us to implement all of these, which we should be able to see. Yeah. Get all, get by ID, create, update, delete. And then we have a mock data provider. Just these properties here, and then adding a demo user and a demo user profile, and just one questionnaire. It should have used the data from my JSON file. I don't even remember how many questions I had in here. Just 3. So I will do that. Seems to be a problem here. Title does not. Do we need a title? No, it should just be question, I think. So update this based on the updated question type in file entity listed. Yes. I'm not sure if it. I should have used the hash selected keyword here. Still think it will get it, but I'm so used to using the chat here where you can just see it automatically sets the context based on what I have selected. Line 102 to 115, but it doesn't do that in the Copilot edits mode. Okay. What did it do? It added one question at least. But yeah, okay, so it's questions. Yeah, it did fix it. I should have undo last edit. I'm a bit tempted to. Yeah, so basically it. So now I just hit this one, undo last edit, and it just popped me right back, and I could check what the diff was here. So basically, I can navigate redo edit. We can see that it updated this from title to question, which is correct, but it also actually picked up some data here. Probably since I now have questions.json in my context. can I also... Yeah, let me try the selected thing now. Selection. Add the remaining questions from file questions.json. So now it has the specific context here. Keep the existing first question, add remaining questions. Make sure all questions are created at an updated at. Very good. Here it comes. Oh, yes. Perfect. Almost. Except that we got a lot of errors. How come? What happened? Nothing happened. The errors were always there. Not here. Let me just copy this into a new file because I didn't get it, and then I will go to the latest version. Why I suddenly get these issues? Maybe they were already always there somehow. Okay. So let's try fix with Copilot here. We need to add export statements. Don't we have that? Whoa. Where the heck did my entities go? What? That was a bit scary. I'm not sure if this was a bug or if I did something wrong, but it kind of deleted everything, which was a bit very scary. Probably I made some mistake, but I just think I managed to recover. So the final, let me accept this one. And the final one is index.ts, which what? I kind of lost my context here, did I? I'm not sure if it seems like it truncated the chat here. Basically, this is probably the entry point to data, importing or exporting everything. Yeah. All right. Let's just accept all of this and click done. So a little bit sketchy here, but we managed to get there in the end, and I'm quite happy with the result. from Claude 3.7 Sonnet here. So will it actually run now? I'm not sure. First we have to make sure the app is running. I'm not sure if this is wired up yet. If I just do a lazy way of testing here, we can see that it's still fetching data from the JSON file here, which is okay, because let's have a look at our prompt plan. So this prompt was just to create the foundational data models and implement the interfaces. And the next prompt is to it actually did all of this, didn't it? Mock data access to store data in memory. Did it actually jump ahead of itself? I didn't realize that. This is already done. Include some sample data. We helped it a little bit to do this. And it did this. Also create a rec context to provide the data throughout the application. So this part is probably missing. Because this was my entire prompt. But based on this, it just went ahead and did more. Which is fine. But then I was thinking to end the video here, but I think I need to finish step 2 since we're kind of in the middle of it as well. Prompt 1. Data, what do you call it? Model. And data access interface data provider. Commit. And then let's see what happens if I just put in all of this, where some of them are of course done. Select the open editors. Right, do I need anything more? Let's try. We can always revert. Wasn't the mock data provider part of my open mock data access? Create a data context TSX file with React context for the data provider. Implement the data context provider component to wrap the application. Create with utility hooks for accessing specific entity data. So it's creating mock data access, which is the one I already had, wasn't it? I think so. Which is awesome. Okay, so here in data context of TSX, create a new React context for the data provider with useful hooks for consuming the context. So let me start by reviewing that. Close others. Oh, cancel. I have a little bit too many things open. Data context. So let's have a look. React imports the data provider. Why is it two imports here? It's the mock data provider and this is the data provider. Okay. Should probably rename. Importing the entities and the data access and the query options. So what is this create context? Okay. I have no clue about this, so I need to learn React basically. Create context lets you create a context that components can provide or read. Okay, not gonna pretend I understand it fully, but sort of. I don't want to spend lots of time delving into the details now. I'm just gonna acknowledge that it's here and that I have to learn more about this as we go. Lots of React stuff. React.function component represent the type of a function component. Okay. Hook to use the data context. And then this is just to making it easy to get the data from our data access layer, I guess. Hook to fetch a single entity by ID. And then hook to fetch multiple entities with loading and error states. Okay, use entities and it takes the ID in. And... okay, I guess I don't understand all of it at all, but then it makes some changes to mock data access. The mock data access implementation already looks good. I'll add some improvements to simulate async behavior. Okay, so it's adding some delay here, which I guess is okay to make it more realistic in a way. Added 2 more users, added 2 more user profiles, and added some favorites. Really like it. Really like it, and I really love that it understood that I already had this mock data access class. So I'm gonna accept that. Really also like that it added more mock data. Perfect. And we have app._app.tsx. Create this file to wrap the entire application with the data context provider. Okay. Function my app. Okay. Accept. Curious to write as _app tsx. That I also need to learn. And then in the end, example component showing how to use the data context. So we have a React component which imports use questions, use entities from data context. And then we create a variable use based on this, which is from our data context, and it's returning use data provider questions. Okay. And then we are creating some constants here. Questions, loading error, order by created at and direction. So fetching questions with a filter. And then if it's currently loading, show this text. If it's an error, show this text, or else return this HTML or JSX. Great. Fine. The question is now, how is the app hanging together? We have an error. We have 2 errors here. What is that? Type T does not satisfy the constraint base entity. Type ID string is missing in the following properties from the base type entity. Created at, updated at. Okay, that should be easy to fix, shouldn't it? Maybe. And here. And import base entity. Maybe. So how is our app hanging together now? And this is where I'm still a super noob on Next, and I need to just do more coding. Is it this that is like wrapping everything up? I mean, like putting everything together? Is it using Is it still using the questions? Is basically what I want to know. Yes. Save. Refresh. I'm gonna keep this 8 here. And then we have page.tsx, which is the entry point. And this one is using the question list component, which is which is using the old question list. So do I need to use the new one? Which is here. So that is should be like dot examples. It's wrong. Dot examples. Next example. And it's also called question list example. Oops, the wrong order. Isn't it like this? There's no default export. It does, doesn't it? Or no default. Can I just nope. That I can't do. On very thin ice here. So I will just revert quite a bit. And get some help. Because this one is just returning some basic stuff, but it's wrapping the Okay. Let me try to Update the existing question list to use when you mock data. So this is a change I really want to review, to learn. Yeah, so using these hooks that we created, converted the components filter props to filter options. Okay. Okay, let's have a look. So instead of get questions, which loaded from this questions.json here, we are now using these hooks from the data context that we created, importing the types and the filter options, and then initializing some constants here. And in the use effect function, instead of doing these old load questions, we are initializing new filters, and if any of the filters are set, then we apply those filters, and then we do use entities. But the question, where is this one? Where is this one? Control F. A little bit hard to see in this view here. Questions access. Yeah. So that is that returns a data access of type question. Questions access, fine. With the filters. So this use entities is a generic function that takes some entity that we have and some query options that we have, and then fetches the data, right? Yeah, fetch entities, async. What does it do? It do get all with the filter. Okay, learning so much here. I like it. And then we have use effect. Okay, need to learn the difference between use effect and okay, we use effect. Use effect. Okay, have to learn more about this. So fine, and no questions found. Yeah, so in the end it will return the JSX here with all the questions and the question card component. Let me save it before I accept it. And I can immediately see that there is some issue. But I think I will accept it first. And then we will try to fix this. A bit of a long video this, but I think it's important to get to finish like prompt 1 and 2 so that we can have a clean start in the next video. You're getting this error because your question list component is trying to use hooks from the data context, but it's not wrapped in a data context provider. Why must it be wrapped in a data context provider? In Next.js app router, which you are using based on your app directory structure, the app.tsx file is not used in the same way as in Pages router. Instead, you need to set up providers in your root layout. Okay. Once again, I don't understand. So I will shamelessly add this code. So inside the body, tag wrapped around the children. We will add this. Where is my autocomplete? Okay. And now I guess we have another error, do we? You're importing a component that needs create context. It only works in client component, but none of its parents are marked with use client, so they are server components by default. So which component is it? Which component is it talking about? Data context TSX. Line 1. I am not sure. I kind of understand the error, but also at the same time kind of did not understand which component it's talking about. Not that I have that many components. Must be this one, I guess. Okay, of course Claude can help me. This is marking the data context file as client component. Okay, I didn't realize that this was a component. But okay, no problem. I guess it is. Components using React's context API needs to be explicitly marked as client components with the use client directive. Yeah, this is okay. I just didn't realize for some reason that it was a component. So it is doing something, but seems to be a bug. Let's fix this. Let's go to here. And we'll move the example here and add open editors. I want this one. Loading the questions. It seems to go in an endless loop. Loading and loading and so on. Okay. The problem is likely with the use entities hook, where the dependency array for use callback is causing the function to be recreated on every render, leading to an infinite loop. The issue is that the options object, which includes your filters, is being recreated every render, causing the fetch entities function to be recreated and triggering the use effect again and again in an infinite loop. Let's modify the use entities hook to properly handle object dependencies. Okay. So what will you do? You will do use memo. Will only recompute the memoized value when one of the dependencies has changed. Okay. Let's also optimize the question list component to avoid unnecessary filter recomputations. Sounds like a good idea. So we're going to use memo here as well, query filters. So once again, will only recompute when one of the dependencies has changed. Okay. Great. Will this fix our issue? Yes, it will. Awesome. Can I filter? Yes, I can. Courage. Okay, there's a bug because we have courage in one of the filters here. What about age groups? So if I do 10 to 12, we get one question. And you can see it's a little bit laggy. It's like simulating the loading here, which is nice. What about the categories? Not sure actually what the category on this test data is, but it seems to be working fine. Nice. So great. Let's do a commit and then fix the tag filtering before ending this video. First, let's make sure everything is saved, and I want to commit this. One slash 1-2 1 and actually let's prompt 2. Implement data context for state management and update the layout with data context provider. Fine. So filter.tags will hopefully be the final one for today. Everything is fine with loading questions except for filtering on tags, which yields no results. Actually, I have to check the data, that the data is correct here. So if I go into data, not that data, where is it? Lib data, mock data access. Let me just check that we actually have tags. We have tags, and here is the moot tag. It should have worked. The current implementation treats tags as if they're a string field when it's actually an array. Makes sense? Makes sense that that would be a bug? Apply tag filtering in JavaScript after getting the initial results. Okay, we can probably optimize this later. So the main fix is in question list, where we have changed the approach to fetch questions filtered by category and age group. Then apply the tag filtering in JavaScript. I think this is okay. The optional enhancement in base data access support for array inclusion. Checking in the contains operator, making it possible to filter by tags at the data access level in the future. I think we want that, but we need to make sure we implement caching and some sort of caching mechanism so we don't get too much data traffic. I think we'll accept this, and I think we'll accept this. Should have tried it first. Nope. Click mute, it is filtered. Awesome. Okay. That is it for this video. We've been going on for quite some time, but it was fun and I learned a lot. So I will see you in the next video, and thank you for watching. Bye.